congratulations. Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival is just right around the corner.
Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you. It's going to be our 22nd edition, and it's from May 31st to June 4th. And you can definitely get your tickets at lalif.org. Lalif.org.
But most excellent. So tell us about the exciting film festival this year. How is it different from the previous years?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, it's great. It's getting bigger. We're having a lot more engagement. Last year was huge, and we expect this year going to be a lot bigger. And we're just so excited about our program this year. We have about 81 projects that we're going to be showing, 18 features, 56 short films. We have 7 episodics. And then we're going to be world premiering about 19 films. International premieres are 3, and then we have US about 9 premieres, and then 18 West Coast premieres. So it's a lot of great things that we have going on here. And then we also have 19 countries represented. Obviously, being the Latino Film Festival, we have a lot of countries involved. So 19 countries are represented. 44 of the projects are directed by females.
Mm.
And the LGBTQ filmmakers, we have about 16 filmmakers as well in there. And we are happy, obviously, with our inclusion fellowship that has Afro-Latino filmmakers. There's about 13 projects there. And then we also have indigenous filmmakers as well. So we have, the great thing, I mean, the Latino culture obviously just kind of expands on from everybody. There's a lot. And so we're so excited to have a big representation of everyone, because the film festival itself is basically the hub for all Latinos to come together to highlight their work, to show their work. And it's not about saying that we're all the same or equal. It's more about coming together so that we can actually kind of show what we got, in a sense of like represent our Latinidad, like whether depending on what country you're from. But it's almost like kind of like the World Cup, or we, as we call it, the Copa America, which is for the other one, which is all the Latin countries. So they all come together and kind of represent and show like what they do, and how they make their films and how they do their art. And it's all about highlighting that and showing the richness and uniqueness of our cultures, but banding together and using LALIFF as that one place. So it's all very exciting. And we just have an amazing program that was put together by our artistic director, Diana Cadavid. And we're opening up with Flaming Hot. That's going to be our opening night film, directed by Eva Longoria. So that's going to be great. And then we're closing off the film festival with Problemista,
Mm.
directed by Julio Torres. So we have 2 studio films, and then we have a lot of things going on throughout the festival. And we have a music series that's presented by Paramount Plus, which is highlighting all of the up and coming, or even artists that are doing well right now in the music industry for that are Latino. So it's all a huge event that's showing all different types of art forms, and we're just excited, man. It's going to be a huge event.
Now I'm curious, was last year, post-COVID, was that an in-person event too?
Actually, in 2021, we were the first in-person event back.
Oh,
So we were in LA. Yes, actually, I think we're one of the major festivals that were back in person. So that one was a little, it was a lot smaller. We had to cut, obviously sticking with COVID protocols and things like that. So it was great to kind of, and then the next year in 2022, that's when everybody was like, okay, everyone, the lockdown was done. And then we were able to, everybody just kind of floored, and we had like over 5,000 people come in. And so yeah, so we were now it's a little bit better, because now that it's not as, I think people are obviously it's safer to be out. That I feel like it's just going to keep getting bigger and getting more people to come.
so did the festival make significant changes since then?
Well, I think what the big focus that we've always been trying to do is not only be a place that shows, that highlights and shows and showcases, excuse me, Latino artwork and Latino films and different forms like episodics, TV, and filmmaking, but we also our core value and what we're trying to do is be that place to connect these artists to the industry, to executives, to the studio system. So that's why we have LALIFF Industry, which is very important because that's how we do it. We have our one-on-one meetings with studio execs that we connect all the invited filmmakers to so that they can have like little, it's more educational. It's more like a general type of educational thing so that people can kind of get to know one another and see how they can, you know, like see what's possible. That's one of the things that we do there. We also have cafecitos, which are conversations, you know, like little panels. It's all about how we can connect our talent to the youth, to the not the youth, excuse me, to talent to the industry. So it's not just showcasing films; it's putting them in front of the industry so that we can. That's what the Latino Film Institute, which is our parent organization. The Latino Film Institute looks over our three nonprofit organizations, which is the Youth Cinema Project, which teaches filmmaking to kids from 5th grade all the way through high school. Then we have Latinx and Animation that represents and is dedicated to unite Latinx groups within the animation, VFX, and gaming industries. And then obviously LALIFF, which is the culminating event that brings everything together to shows that all the work that LFI does, right? So that's we are being that bridge that connects the Latino community into the industry. And the thing that we're doing revolutionary is that we're starting at a young age with the Youth Cinema Project. This year, we're going to show over 120 student-made short films that were made in this year, which were written, directed, shot, produced, all of that by kids from 5th grade all the way to high school. So we're actually, what the Latino Film Institute, which is different, not different, but which we're defining better now, is dedicated to creating infrastructure for equity, diversity, and excellence for the Latino community in the entertainment industry. So we're that pipeline, we're that bridge from the industry, I'm sorry, from the community to the industry. So there's no more of that, hey, we need a director, we need this, we need like, we just can't find it. I was like, no, we have that talent because we've been around since 1997. So yeah, no, I think that's kind of what our focus is, being that connection and also helping out those US based Latinos that are living in the US that are working, but also want to kind of be connected into into either the studio system or just the industry itself so that they can get work within the industry.
So with the organization investing into youth, is this hoping to bridge the gap in the future? Because, you know, everyone throughout that's always throughout that statistics, you know, 28% of movie ticket buyers are Latinos.
Yes, and you know, and we need to see that. Like, we need to see it on the screen. But not only that, we've made, you know, we've made some little bit of progress, but we're still not there yet, and we still need to continue on because we need not only that representation on the screen, but also in the decision making. We need that in the executive suite. We need that so that basically we keep those stories authentic. You know, of course, Latinos love to go into the movie theater, but then they love to also see that they're represented and that they see themselves in that. And because that's where and I think they're starting to see that. And I think the industry is starting to see that. And we need to obviously keep showing them like, hey, we have this talent. And so that's why LFI is here, so that we can start and keep feeding the beast, for lack of better words, but so that we're getting these kids at a young age who don't have these opportunities, because at YCP, the kids that we teach are in public schools that are Title I schools. So they don't have these resources. So by the time they're in high school, they're not going to have the ability to like go to film school or show, like, you know, these schools are asking for like samples, you know, that are pretty good, like that are kind of hard to get for like if you haven't had a lot of these resources ahead of time. So that's where we're bridging that gap, is that we're starting young so that we can continuously have these people have our community be able to like be ready to go into there, because not only do we want the opportunity to work with this and to work with the industry within the industry, we also want to prepare them to be ready for that.
So it's safe to say that with your organization and LALIFF, young filmmakers can use this as a stepping stone into the industry.
It's a complete pipeline. Yes, I would say that. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do, and also just to put excellence within it, and you know, standards, and to make sure that they understand what they're doing, and just to be prepared. So it's not like just asking for, hey, we want you to give us the opportunity. We're like, no, we're ready for it. Here are some good people. You know.
Most excellent. I also understand that, according to my notes, that the organization has a new mission statement. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, the Latino Film Institute, the Latino Film Institute, or LFI, is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization dedicated to creating infrastructure for equity, diversity, and excellence for the Latino community in the entertainment industry. LFI houses three signature programs: the Youth Cinema Project, the Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival, and Latinx in Animation. The Youth Cinema Project is the one that teaches filmmaking in classes. So the works in the classroom of public schools, integrating filmmaking with 21st century learning skills. And YCP utilizes a rigorous standards-based curriculum and hands-on approach that integrates social emotional learning and English language arts to provide an equitable and accessible learning experience for students. And LALIFF, the Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival, is the premier international event dedicated to showcasing the entirety of the human experience from the Latino perspective, whether through film, television, digital, music, art, or any other vehicle, regardless of platform. And then the LXIA is the Latinx in Animation, represents and is dedicated to the unite Latinx groups within animation, VFX, and gaming industries. Also, kind of like an educational to let people know that you don't need to be you don't need to know how to draw in order to be in animation. You know, there's a lot of jobs in that field, and the thing is that not many of our community knows all the different types of possibilities that they can do in this industry that's in their backyard, that's
Hmm.
right here, and they don't realize that it's there for them. So, yeah, so we're very excited about that, and I think that we have an amazing slate of, this year where we have the LALIFF Inclusion Fellowship, which we gave. This was sponsored by Netflix, which gives $30,000 to 10 filmmakers, 5 Afro-Black Latinos and 5 Indigenous Latinos to make their films, and they're going to premiere them at LALIFF. And then we also have the YCP Fellowship, which is sponsored by Amazon Studios, that gives the opportunity to 16 high school students to make a short film, and to make that short film. And that short film they're working on together that is being mentored by by a director, by all different positions. So they actually have a full-on mentorship to make a film, which is also going to premiere at LALIFF. So all these short programs that we have together right now is amazing. LXIA has the Animation Spark Grant, which gives money to animators to make short films, short animated films. So this year we have just so many initiatives that we're going to be able to show at the festival. So it's very important that people come and see these amazing works. Again, like I said before, the best way to kind of get tickets and to see what's available to come check out is going to our website at laliff.org.
Most excellent. And I'm curious, how long you've been in the organization and why you love it so much?
Oh wow, okay, that's a good question. Well, I started off as a volunteer back in, and I'm not going to tell you when, so don't ask me. Uh, but I started off as a volunteer. I graduated from UCLA and was like, yeah. And I told my parents I got a degree for them, but I'm like, I'm gonna go into acting, and then so they're like, okay, great. But then I volunteered at LALIFF, and LALIFF is so important to me because that's where I found myself as a filmmaker. I like met all these amazing filmmakers that looked like me, and then just worked with them, learned from them, and then I put myself through film school, which is the film school that I'm talking about. Is I basically shot 2 awful short films to kind of just like, that's like the best film school. I learned everything, and and then I just realized, I was like, this was LALIFF was the best experience for me to find myself as a filmmaker, and I was like, I just want this experience for everyone. And so I feel like that's what I kind of drive myself as the executive director for this festival, to pretty much make sure that everyone that comes to this festival feels that way, that they found a home, and that they can find themselves, and that they can network with people, and that they have that support system. So yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about this work. And obviously it's not only that, but it's helping out the youth as well. So it's being that bridge to kind of change the face of the industry, because when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an action hero. That's
Hmm.
why I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be an action hero. And so, but I never, I was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these people, they didn't look like me. But then now we have that opportunity to change that, where, a little me now can see that. So even though I'm not an action hero in TV or film, I feel like I'm kind of doing that work for the community.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you are doing very important work, and LALIFF here next week is going to help with that cause. But one more thing before I leave, it's because you talk about so much diversity in your programming and in the organization. Could you define to me, what does it mean to be Latino today?
What does it mean to be Latino? Oh, man, that's a good question. Well, I think identity is one of those things that's just a question that's it's based upon the person themselves. Like, I think that it's about acceptance and about what other people, how you feel. And being Latino today, to me, can mean many different things, for everybody involved. Because some people may, not identify as Latino, or it's, I think that's also like something that's more in the US, obviously, which is why this work is important, because we're also trying to represent the US based Latinos, even though we are an international film festival. So for me, it's just like, I think the best way to kind of say it is to say that for me, like that being like what it is to be Latino today is just to feel that you have a support, that you feel represented with your community,
Mm.
and that they understand and respect how you feel you want to be, how you want to call yourself. Because even if I speak to a Latino that may be technically Latino but doesn't represent that way, that's okay, But at least we still have similarities, and that's the whole thing. So that's like the hardest thing to kind of answer, because there's so many, you have Asian Latinos, you have Afro Latinos, you have Indigenous Latinos, you just have so many, and that's also kind of what makes it beautiful, because that's what's important, is that it ties us together, and I feel like that's what's get lost. So I think that if we can kind of come together and just realize that we're similar, we have a lot of similarities and more than differences, but it's okay to be proud of those differences and those uniqueness, and that we should be able to celebrate that together and know that we still have something that connects us. So I think Latinos should definitely be something that we can ourselves define, and then accept others. And yeah, just I think the whole inclusion thing is it's important, so people feel represented, but it's vice versa, as long as we're all kind of living in harmony. I know that sounds a little too too like altruistic, I guess, but I think that it's very I think it's definitely possible, obviously, to accept everyone as they are, and but that's got to go both ways.
And that's why we're going to have diverse stories starting on next week, and everyone could buy their tickets at the LALIFF website.
Yes, so we start off Wednesday, May 31st through June 4th. 5 days of the festival at TCL Chinese Theaters at the Ovation Hollywood. We're very excited. LALIFF.org is the best place to get tickets. We're, opening night's going to be great. We have a huge program. Please go check it out, LALIFF.org, and we hope to see you there. And thank you for your time, Gig.
Hey, no, thank you. And I will be there too. So,
Oh, yeah. Great.
thank,
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to
thank,
see you in person then. All right.
thank you for carrying this conversation.
Thank you for your time as well, Gig. Thank you.